So I got my septum pierced in April, and as someone with bad anxiety and a pain tolerance as low as my bank account balance, I tried to do as much research as possible, but none of it seemed to help. So I thought I would go over the process of getting your septum pierced in full from start to finish, so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, because I sure didn't. Every video I see is like, oh, the pain was a 4 out of 10, it was a 8 out of 10, it was a 2 out of 10. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So I've been wanting my septum pierced since I was about 13, but I went to like a super strict high school, so I was like, oh, I'll get it done when I leave school. And then I got too scared and that didn't happen, so I was like, oh, I'll get it for Christmas. And then I got too scared and that didn't happen. Eventually I decided to book it because a stranger on Instagram told me I would pull more goals with it. So when you're getting your septum pierced, it's really important to find a studio that is right for you. Don't get your nipples pierced in Claire's, and especially don't do them yourself. Septum piercings are really hard to get straight. So if you do it yourself, it's gonna be ugly, let's be honest. Most piercers say septum piercings are their least favourite to do because they're so hard to get right, so have fun in the knowledge that you are really stressing someone out when you get one. I would recommend asking someone you know who has a septum piercing where they got theirs, and then just be like, yep, never heard of it, but I'm going there. I go to art school, so like 90% of the people I see every day have septum piercings, so they're not that hard to find for me, but you know, you might be different. So I messaged the shop I wanted to go to on Facebook. Check if they do septum piercings before, because a lot of shops don't, and then they will tell you their availability and you can pick a day. I'd recommend doing it at least a week after you book so you can really have the time to mentally prepare yourself, but that's just me. Mine cost £30, I think, which is really cheap for that, honestly. There's not really any preparation you need to do until like the day of, so make sure you blow your nose and all that. Maybe don't wear any makeup to the appointment because you're gonna cry it all off. And make sure you eat really well because your blood sugar is gonna go woo when you're getting your piercing. Spoiler alert, I didn't eat anything before I went and I half passed out. Also, make sure you turn up at least 15 minutes earlier because they will need to see your ID and you will also have to sign consent forms. Somehow I managed to sign the tattoo consent form, so I had to do it twice. So yeah, leave time for if you do something stupid like that. So when you get there, you should be laid down on a bed. They made me sit up for some reason. I didn't really like that, but whatever. Your piercer should then go over with you the details of the process, ask questions, make sure you're comfortable and everything. Remember, you can withdraw consent at any time. If you feel like your piercer is doing something wrong, get out of there. There are a lot of red flags to look for when it comes to piercers, and I am going to go over those later. My piercer made me pick the size of jewellery I want. I went for the bigger one of the two. And they will ask you if you want to be able to flip your septum up or not, and I said no, and she was like, good, because your nose is too small for that anyway. So the piercer should start off by cleaning your nose, and then they'll press either a clamp or a receiving tube into your septum. Now, oh my god, the clamp hurts so bad. It hurts more than the actual piercing, but like maybe be glad if they use that for you because it means the piercing is more likely to be straight compared to if they're just like freestyling it. Now, if you're like me, you're probably going to be on the verge of a panic attack, but having a lot of adrenaline in your body is really good because it like makes it hurt less. So if you're scared, be glad about it. Then they will take the needle and press it into usually the left side of your septum through a piece of skin they call the sweet spot. It's not cartilage, and if they pierce your cartilage, you're gonna know about it. A good piercer will check your anatomy and make sure you actually have this spot, because some people don't. and then either you can't get the piercing or you have to do it through your cartilage, which is insanely painful. If you can't find it yourself though, don't worry, because I couldn't either. So the worst part of the piercing is having the needle pressed up against your skin, but when it goes through you cannot feel it whatsoever. I was actually really pleasantly surprised by the pain, like it hurt so much less than I thought it was going to. When they start to put the needle through, you'll feel a lot of pressure, like the type that makes you hold your breath and scrunch your eyes up, but it doesn't hurt at all. Also, you will get hit by like Niagara Falls out of your eyes during this, and that's because the nerves in your nose like connect up to your eyes, so it's nothing to worry about. It happens to everyone, pretty much everyone. After this, they'll most likely give you a moment to take a breather, and I think for me this is when I got hit by all the like nausea and lightheadedness and needed to lay down. I was like trying really hard not to throw up. That probably wouldn't happen to you. My body just hates me and likes to make me violently nauseous all of the time about anything and everything. But it's all good because they gave me a lollipop, and they'll also give you like a tissue to wipe your eyes and stuff. The needle they pierce you with has like a hole in the middle of it. No, it doesn't punch out your skin, don't worry. The jewellery goes into this hole and then the needle is pulled out the other side, bringing the jewellery with it. And then they screw it on the ball and pinch it together a bit, and then you're done. Congrats. It's a really quick process, so you'll be out of there in no time. Some people say them putting the jewellery like through your nose hurts, but personally I didn't feel a thing. When I left the studio, the lady was like, "Oh, you okay? You look really pale." And I was like, that's just my face. Okay, thank you, goodbye. I was kind of shaken up for the next 30 minutes or so. Like I was a bit out of it and I didn't really want to eat or talk or anything, but that's probably just me again. Mine did bleed a lot, but most people's don't. But I was kind of grateful for this in the end, because when you're cleaning it you can see like the crusty bits really well. You have to clean off because they're red. Also, make sure to buy yourself a little treat on the way home because you deserve it. Now the healing, in my opinion, is the worst part, but it's worth it, so it's fine. So you need to clean your piercing about twice a day. My piercer recommended boiling water with a pinch of sea salt cooled down, and then you dip a cotton bud into that and clean it on both sides. But some people don't like that method, so do your own research and find what you think is right for you, but I think the salt water worked perfectly fine for me. It is really easy to clean because you just sort of get these crusty bits and you just take them off with the solution. Septum piercings have a really low chance of getting infected, so you really don't have to worry about that much. I think I stopped cleaning mine every day after like 2 weeks. I hear some people say they're worried about fiddling with it, but it'll hurt so much when you do that, you won't want to, don't worry. I find that moving the jewellery backwards and forwards feels fine from day one, but moving it side to side, oh my god. A lot of the time during the healing, you'll wake up with a wonky septum like that, and moving it back into the right place, your soul leaves your body. It's the most god-awful feeling ever, and it stings for like a whole 5-10 minutes. Like it's not even like a quick pain, it like lingers and it's horrible. So I would recommend sleeping in a position where you are confident you're not going to catch it, which is probably like on your back facing upwards, but I get sleep paralysis when I do that, so I guess I have to suffer. This pain went away after only a week for me. For a lot of people it's even less. Some people it's more, but I'd say maybe about 4 or 5 days of that for the average person, because my body is just very dramatic. Also, I used to take flash photos of myself every time I woke up in the night because I didn't have a mirror, just to like check if my septum was wonky. And they are so funny. I can't believe I'm gonna put these on the internet, but they're too funny not to. I meant to film this all in one go, but I got a bit distracted, so it's the next day now. So your nose will feel kind of like sore and bruised for a little while. Just don't touch it and you'll be fine. Everyone says something different, but I'd say septum piercings take like minimum 2 months, maximum 8 months to heal. I'd say wait about 6 months before changing the jewellery. I haven't done that yet, so I can't tell you what it's like. Yes, septum piercings do smell. Not like all the time, but if you do that, it's a bit of fish, you know? Also, I've heard people say if you have like an extra smelly septum, other people can smell it when they kiss you, so just keep that in mind. Honestly, most of us kind of like the smell, we won't admit it, but we do. I think it depends on the type of metal your piercer uses, but I had no problems going through airport security with it still in. No, people aren't going to be able to tell you have it if it's flipped up. Again, I can't do it. Yes, you can sneeze. No, it's not going to fall out if you sneeze. If you cry or like have an illness, like the area around it will be a little bit irritated, but not that much. Like, it's nothing you need to worry about. However, it does like to get condensated. So if you're wearing a mask or it's really cold outside, it's gonna be like wet. As I said before, it's really important that you have a piercer who knows what they're doing and is safe and sanitary. Some red flags to look out for are not wearing gloves, not using needles out of sterilised packaging or containers, not checking you have the right anatomy for the piercing, not checking up on you regularly and asking if you're okay and stuff, not asking for ID or consent forms, piercing young children, like babies and stuff, using a piercing gun, offering dangerous piercings like I've forgotten what it's called, the like sideways horizontal tongue one. If they do that, run. If they don't tell you how to take care of it afterwards, and especially if they make any comments about your body or ask you to remove any clothes that aren't absolutely necessary. If you're getting your belly button pierced, you shouldn't have to take off any clothes at all, and if they tell you to, get out of there. And as for green flags and piercers, if they give you lollipops. So overall, if you're thinking of getting this piercing, definitely go for it. It's not that bad, even from someone who is awful with things like that. In terms of pain, if I had to choose between getting a COVID jab again and getting my septum pierced, I'd choose the septum. And yeah, like, it's really rewarding. Like, you go through a tiny bit of pain and then you're hot forever. Like, it's worth it. This is your sign. Go do it. And that is it from me. Have a lovely day and goodbye.